Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of Sonic After the Sequel. This is Moon Mansion Zone. Not my favorite zone, but it's pretty cool. One of my favorite things about this first act is that background. Good lord, just look at those trees. I love the lush colors. I love how, like, as you look down, you don't see the ground. All you see is complete darkness. And that's just so cool. It just has so much life to this place. I'd get it if they added like a cemetery or whatever for the whole haunted house vibe. But honestly, I think those trees just add so much more life to the place and just make it unique. Because it's such a simple thing, but they managed to make it look so cool. Anyway, here I guess this stage is just in the I don't know, the courtyard or whatever. We're not gonna see like the inside of this moon mansion until the later acts. Gosh, I love the moon, I love the stars, love everything about this. I'm just gonna say right now, this was one of the most gimmicky stages in the entire game. It's got a lot of weird random crap like this. That's not to say the gimmicks are bad or anything. That's not a point against this stage, no. This is a fine stage. I'm just saying it's the most gimmicky in the sense that there's just so many gimmicks, so many weird things that you're only gonna find in this stage. You got lots of, creatively designed enemies that you can only hit at certain times, like these guys. You've got lots of weird level design choices, like these gigantic spikes. You don't want to land on them, or one spike will go right up your ass. Ugh. You got these falling blocks there, kind of finicky in that you don't even need to touch them. You don't even have to stand on top of them to make them fall down. As soon as you align yourself with them at all, even if you're not standing on them, like if you're just flying and passing through as tails, they'll just fall, which is kind of badly programmed in my opinion, but whatever. Anyway, overall, it's a pretty cool stage. It's like they just came up with a bunch of random ideas and decided to toss them all into this one stage. Still pretty cool. Also, I love the music of this act. Actually, this whole zone is some pretty swell music. There's just something funny about this act's music. It's just so weird and random. Like, I don't know if you heard it, but at one point, the guys are just going like, yeah, 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 yeah. And that wasn't some weird sound, I think apparently that was the voice of the guys who composed this too, and they just really distorted it. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that, but it's pretty funny. Anyway, this is the kind of stage that is just lots and lots of platforming, and it's still fast-paced in the sense that you are constantly moving, you're constantly doing something, but there aren't a lot of long stretches to run along, you know, you gotta stay on the move and just be careful where you step. It's a very cluttered sort of stage, but it's not too slow. Yeah, I think it's alright. Goodness, I just love that background. Yeah, we're already done with the first act. At this point, I'm kind of trying to clear through these stages pretty quickly because I just don't want them to drag on for too long. Like part 4, good lord. That was long because of the montage I added, but whatever. Anyway, on with Act 2. We're going to be playing through this whole stage as Tails because, well, it's convenient for the order in which we're switching between the characters through these stages, but this zone is particularly relevant to Tails. You'll see why in a little bit. Anyway, let me talk about these ghosts. These ghosts are pretty strange, and earlier I said those guys in Sugar Splash were the second most unique enemy in the game. I think those ghosts are the #1 most unique enemy in the game. They don't even really attack you. You can't get hurt from touching them or anything. All they really do is just exist as an obstacle. But the way you make your way around them is pretty unique. You have to be looking away from them at the time. Now, those who are familiar with the boost from Mario, yeah, that probably goes against your gamer instincts, you know, like, oh, I can't look away from the enemy or they'll chase me, but that's not how it is with these ghosts. As long as you're looking at them, they'll be solid, but as long as you're looking away from them, you know, they'll just disappear and you can pass through them. How you do that without, like, running backwards is pretty tricky, so... Ow. The best way is to just spin dash through them, because in that case, Tails isn't looking at the ghost, he's just looking at his own knees, you know, as he's rolling around. But there are going to be some points where we can't do that, and there's going to be some pretty clever level design choices made, like, centered around that enemy, and, you know, there will be ways for us to pass through, but you'll see. Love the music, love the scenery. This is a very, very cool zone. How often do we see, like, a haunted mansion sort of zone in something like a Sonic game, you know? The one that obviously comes to mind is the whatever it was called from Sonic Heroes. And yeah, this is just another one of the many zones in this game that was inspired by Sonic Heroes. That's how we passed through that enemy. But I wouldn't say this outright rips off that zone. I think it does a very good job making this trope feel kind of fresh, just in the colors and all the constant level gimmicks and everything that's thrown at you. And I love that background. Just there's so many things about this zone that I think are just really swell. Right here, we have to be holding left while catapulted forward by that thing. It's strong enough that it'll throw us through the ghosts, but you know, you have to approach it a certain way. You know, it's a pretty weird sort of gimmick, but it's still clever. Yeah, this just has a lot of cool ideas in it. And even though it's not my favorite zone, it is pretty high up there just because of how cool it is. It just isn't personally one of my favorite stages, but it's still good. You know, good music, good scenery, good level gimmicks. You know, pretty fast-paced level design. Never really slows down to a crawl or whatever. You just have to be careful in how you approach it. Oh, jeez. Enemies like that are actually pretty annoying. Because, you know, sometimes you'll be thinking, oh, he's down. Okay, now's my chance to hit him. And then as soon as you make a move, then sometimes you might be prepared for that and you'll think, oh, I'll just wait for a little while for him to flip around and then flip back for me to get him. But then you end up waiting a long time and you're like, ah, screw this. And by the time you finally go after him, yeah. Anyway, sorry to say I do use Tails' flying ability to cheese my way through this stage a little bit, but I just wanted to set up a good flow. I didn't want to, you know, have to be treading. I don't know. I'm not gonna defend myself for this. I'm not gonna make up any excuses. I kind of cheesed my way through the stage as Tails, but whatever. I'm just having fun playing as Tails. This is his stage. Let him do whatever he wants. But anyway, I love making little combos like that. Hitting enemies just feels so great as Tails. It already feels very good as Sonic, like it always does, but there's just something about the way Tails moves. There's just something about his physics and his weight that I just think makes him even more fun to play as at times. And I know some of you are going to think, but that's not how it should be. Well, I don't know why, but Tails is just one of the most fun characters to play as in any Sonic game. Like Sonic Adventure, Tails is spectacularly fun to play as in that game because of how broken he is and because of how much freedom you have. Anyway, wow, we're already at the end of this stage. It's been going on for like 4 minutes or whatever. We got a lot of these crazy spikes here, and this is pretty tricky. The first time I went through this game, I was just struggling to make it through without landing on one of these and losing all my rings. And I was having to constantly adjust to like the water and everything and just try my hardest not to fall down. Ugh. There was just one like crawl space, as we'll see in just a few seconds. This part right here. Oh jeez, you have to be so precise with this. It was at this point, the very, very end of the level, where I lost my rings. I'm like, are you shitting me, game? But whatever, still a fun stage. And that's Act 2. This next zone shows why I chose to play this stage as Tails. And also, I just love how they just go all out with the music here. This is so rockin'. It was at this point that, I mean, I already knew the soundtrack was special. I already loved the soundtrack right from the beginning. But it was at this point that I saw they were just having fun. Wait, have I seen you somewhere before? Yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit as we go on. But yeah, this is a funny little fight because even though I didn't quite pull it off this time, if you hit him at just the right second, you don't even have to move as Tails. You'll just go forward a little bit, the conveyor belt will push you back to him, and you can just keep jumping every now and then without even pushing the control stick. And it's just hilarious to catch that guy in that loop. Anyway, we'll talk about him in just a moment. But yeah, just listen to that music. I just love this music so much. This soundtrack is just so great. Like I was saying before, this was at the point where I saw, okay, these guys were just having the time of their lives making this music. This is the kind of thing that has passion put into it. This is just so cool to listen to. I especially love this bit that's coming up right here. Listen. I just love the build-up of that. They really are trying to drive the whole ooh, haunted house kind of vibe. How about that? Another one of those medals. Yeah, I'm not going to be showing you guys where to find all those. I'm just going to show you a few of them, including that one. And you'll see what they're used for in an extra video that I'll be uploading after the final boss. Yeah, I know I'm kind of ripping off Clement with the style in which I'm approaching this LP and just the extra video and all that stuff. But I don't do LPs that often. He's a very good guy to model your LPs after. I mean, his are some of my favorite LPs on the whole site, you know. I guess you could say that this LP was just kind of a tribute to his, but I digress. Anyway, moving on. I just love this music. There are just times where I'm just so enamored with what I'm hearing at the time that I just can't focus on much else. Ooh, you gotta be careful in places like that. Oh! Ah, dang it. Oh well. I think we're about to meet up with that enemy from earlier again. Yep, here we go. Now, I may as well explain who this guy is now. This guy appeared in Sonic before the sequel. You see, Sonic and Tails would take turns playing, and every time you were playing as Sonic, you'd fight Robotnik, and Tails would always be chased around by this guy. Just this weird super badnik, I guess we'll call him. And apparently he is the Baron of this manor, and he has been waiting for us to catch up, and just so he can claim vengeance on Tails for beating him up so many times. And that's why I don't play this stage as Sonic that often. Yeah, I've played it through it with him a couple times, but I almost always play through this part as Tails, because it's just fitting that he be the one to fight this guy one last time. This is the final battle between Tails and his nemesis. Sorry for cheesing my way through sections like that. I'm just trying to keep up the pace and not slow this down too much. I love just the clouds in the background and everything. This is a pretty epic place. And I think, you'd think this would be like a second to last zone in the game, but no, we're still only like 2/3 through the game. And that's the end of Act 3. So yeah, that's Moon Mansion Zone. Pretty cool zone in my book. Not my favorite, but yeah, it's great. And now for one of my favorite boss encounters in the game. And it's not just because of the gameplay, it's because of the story that it tells. Now, wait a sec. There's something familiar about this thingy. Hey, that looks kind of like the ring we saw at the beginning of the game. Around that mountain, at the other end of this region. What does it do? Oh my gosh! You mean Eggman's gonna use that giant ring to change the weather and make the world an inhospitable hellhole? Yes, people. Eggman's doomsday device is a weather machine, and he's gonna use it to basically screw up everything. And it's nice that in this boss fight, we get kind of a preview of what this thing's power is and just what it can do. I mean, look at it. This is this tiny thing completely changing everything going on around us. This is a pretty cool boss fight. Like, all you do is just hit this guy whenever he's lined up with you like this. You know, when he's facing you from either side of the screen, that's when you can hit him. When he's looking forward or backward, though, you can't touch him. And it's just constantly changing the whole place. And one thing I love about this is the music. The music is part of what makes this fight surprisingly epic, because there's like 4 mixes of this one tune made for this fight. There's just so much going for it. It's just so cool. So anyway, that was this boss fight. That was Tails' final showdown with this thingy, assuming there isn't a Sonic after the sequel, after the sequel, after the sequel, after this. But anyway, here we learn a little more about the plot, you know? And again, just really cool to have storytelling mixed with gameplay like that. Not just through cutscenes, but through what's going on as you're still pushing buttons. It's just cool. Gosh, that's so mean to this thing. So yeah, here's Eggman's plan. As you can see, this weather machine can do all sorts of stuff. He's using the weight of the Death Egg to send Angel Island crashing, and he's going to use the weather machine to magnify the effects of the tsunami that'll follow, and basically make what happened in the day after tomorrow happen today. Or tomorrow, whatever. So yeah, we're almost there. You know, we're getting very, very close to the home stretch. Tune in next time for Red Hot Ride Zone. See you guys.